Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest of the Overboard Network, a Below Deck podcast. We're back with episode 6, a Below Deck Med titled For Tooth's Sake, which I'm done with the titles of these shows, Sean, because whoever made this title had the tooth hurts like right in their paws and they went another way. So I'm going to keep announcing the titles, but I'm done. I'm done with them at this point.
For Chief's sake makes no sense because it's for Pete's sake is the pun you're going off of, right?
Yeah, it's so much further than like what was right there. So let's get in this week's episode. Natasha continues to gaslight Dave, who's acting pretty rational as far as Dave's concerned. Natalia turns on for Storm and then turns off for Storm right after that. Kyle is in absolute pain, loses a tooth, and then is fine moments later. So I've got no idea what's going on there. His pain meds must be awesome. I still can't remember Jason's name into every single episode. And honestly, are we just gonna watch Z and Coco this entire season? Because I've had enough to hear with a lot of these characters, and this episode was kind of a turning point. So, Sean, let's just get into it. I feel like there were a lot of storylines in this episode, and none of them really make me like the characters more. I'm not kidding when I say maybe this should just be the Z and Coco show the rest of the way. And, can I go as far as saying maybe getting rid of Reagan in hindsight was a storyline and show killer?
Yes, I think you can, John. So one easy way that Reagan is missed. Storm has lost all the swagger. I know he technically did like a nice like night docking and everything, but like minutes before he thought he was going to get fired. He's like,
Right.
this isn't going to go well. I'm going to get fired. I'm going to be the second person to be fired. He's got no confidence. He's a dud on his date with Natalia.
He really is. Can't get work off his brain.
The whole date he just talks about the deck schedule. Like, dude, she's not Sandy. She doesn't care. Like no one cares about that schedule.
Yeah.
But Jen, like as far as like bigger overall storylines, Reagan was such a wild card.
Yeah.
She's missed. Yeah.
She really is. And it was interesting that there was a point there, and I know we'll get a little bit more into everybody individually, but there was a point there when basically like the interior were just yelling at each other. And that's because they're all like good at their jobs. And so like they're like headstrong. And I think these are like strong work ethics and personalities going up against each other. At least when like people were complaining about Reagan, they were right.
Yeah.
Like
it was I don't know, it made all the deckhands more likable because they had to pick up her slack. But it was just like interesting. I don't know. Having a bad bosun is kind of great TV.
Yeah. And now I miss it. So Sean, let's get into each of the characters and I'll tell you why I like them less than I did at the beginning of the episode. I know we talked about Storm a little bit. So the guy went from kind of like really being on top of his shit to he's so frustrated that he hit the dolphin. He goes out on a limb and says, Natalia, let's go out to dinner. I will tell you, this seems like a guy to me who is thinking of proposing on like the 6th date. And that is not who Natalia is. To me, honestly, Natalia feels like she's a little bit afraid of commitment here. And Storm is a dive in headfirst type of guy. So don't like where this is going anymore, as much as I loved it last episode.
That's not who I thought Storm was either. Yeah, he's just weird, a different guy in that date. And then when they get to the club, he's just talking to Z about work the entire time. And look, I get it. Hey, you just got promoted to bosun. Like you're taking it seriously. That is like a good thing. But I don't know. I miss like the really good deckhand Storm. That's just a better look for him. It's like where he's very good at his job, but he's not thinking about it all the time.
All right.
He one of the few times a guy has gotten promoted and the girl likes him less. But right,
fair.
It happened. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And also on the other side, so let's talk about Natalia. So, Storm invites her out onto this nice date. She's already saying it's not a date, and then kind of gets there. And you know, obviously Storm's not the best talker when it comes to conversation. I feel like, but Natalia wanted to keep this so surface level, and she even said after the date, like she doesn't like going too deep, and so like I just think they're not going to mix, man. And tonight was a inclination here for sure.
It was their lack of chemistry is so weird. What did she want? Like, I was hard on Stern, but like, what did she want him to talk about? Right? Because she doesn't, well, doesn't want to go deep. You can't talk about work. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, like history, like about I don't know, man. Neither of us have been on first dates in years, so but I would imagine you want to talk about a little bit about yourself, your background, where you were before this. I mean, they probably
Yes,
all got they probably all got great stories because they've been in all parts of the world.
yes, but they already work together, so maybe some of the stories have already been told.
Could be.
I don't know. She kind of started ball busting him as soon as he asked her on the date,
Yeah.
and was just like, "You better not kiss me." Like, and obviously they've already made out like she was joking,
Yep.
but I don't know. Sometimes you can't tell with her. She's a mixed signals girl, and
Yeah.
I felt really bad that when he was like trying to like dance with her at the club and like get something, and she's just like, "No, you ruined the night."
Yeah. His whole vibe was off, and she was having none of it. So, but honestly, I didn't like how she acted.
No,
And I think they're on two different wavelengths, but I still don't love like the way she acted. She just like totally like discarded him. Speaking of women discarding guys, that's what we call segue, Sean. Natasha still insufferable, still texting her former ex, now back to being boyfriend. I am so out on Natasha. It's not funny. She's pretty insufferable at this point.
man, she's broken a lot of hearts before. That story
Yep.
about she was engaged and then broke up with a guy during a crossing
Yep.
and they had to
Real
share
tough.
a cabin for a month. I will say there's a few moments tonight where she gives you that smile like to the camera and you're like, okay, I get it. I get how guys fall for her quick. And then yeah, she's a heartbreaker.
Yep.
Dave's not gonna get over her.
No, but like here's the thing. Dave's at least like he's kind of like playing it cool, I think. And like to the camera. He's not playing it that cool, don't get me wrong. But like he seems like he's acting normal, but then at the same time, everybody's asking Natasha, like, how's Dave doing? And she's like, oh, he's clingy. He's still like he's still suffocating me. Like, I don't see that, but maybe that's the edit, man.
Well, he like offered to wash her dishes. I don't know. Yeah, he's not. Here's Dave. Dave's very good and professional with his job during charter. And then when they go out, he's sulks the entire time.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So maybe that's it. It might just be like a facial expression thing.
If Dave just pretended like the breakup with him and Natasha didn't phase him, she would be back into him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's like a no-brainer. Like, Dave, you just got to go on like everything's hunky dory, even if it's not. And I don't know what the end game there is, but like doing this whole like sulk thing every time they go to the bars, which he's not I mean, honestly, this was just like the sad boys club in this episode.
Yeah. John, that's a great point. They're like this season, they're back at with full bars and clubs and everything.
Yeah.
Go talk to some girls, Dave. What are you doing?
Well, no, it's not just Dave, it's Jason. And then you've got also Storm, who like literally 3 of the 5 guys that were at the bar tonight were just sulking.
Yeah. That's all Jason does. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this was just like this. I feel like this was like the Sad Boys Club episode. If I could rename it, that's what I would rename it to. But yeah, man, like we can move off like Natasha and Dave, but I will say it was pretty insane that Natasha is now like texting her boyfriend and she felt the need to tell Dave that they're gonna like work it out. You had to tell if you're like retexting an ex, the last thing you have to do is tell anyone. You could just do it. You don't have to tell the guy that you just kind of broke his heart. Like, oh, by the way, it's just it's
Uh,
she's unbelievable.
she's a heartbreaker, man.
Yeah.
Should we
All
talk?
right.
I know we brought up Jason, right? Yeah. Should
No, we already we gave Jason more on this episode than the actual episode did. But no,
well,
we got to talk Kyle though.
hold on, one thing about Jason, I'm just not sure whether to like feel sorry for him or if he's just kind of a dick. I'm not sure because no
He's
one in the crew likes him.
Yeah, he's not vibing with anyone.
No one, Z didn't laugh at his jokes, and
Yeah.
as he said, Z laughs at everything Courtney says. So.
Well, Z's in love with Courtney though, right? So,
Mm,
I'll laugh at a knock knock joke if it's the right person. Um, but let's also talk about Kyle a little bit. So Kyle had um like pretty immense jaw pain.
yes.
Does he know that like dentists exist, or was he just gonna like ride this one out forever? I didn't understand why he never brought up like I should go see someone.
Yeah, and also he thinks it's jaw pain. I feel like the difference between jaw pain and two teeth being infected is probably apparent. I've never had jaw. I don't think I've ever had jaw pain,
No.
but when you have a tooth that's infected, like that's all you think about. You know exactly where it is. You know exactly where the pain's located. Because I feel like jaw pain would be like kind of an all over mouth pain. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, John, you're right. What was his plan was to do laundry? Like,
Yeah.
how is that gonna make it better?
I don't know. His plan was to do nothing. Like there are doctors. There are doctors who like are specific to the mouth. Dentists. He could have just said,
Mm,
"Hey, I got to go to the dentist. I got to take a couple hours off. I got to go do this. This is for my health." Instead, he literally was just about to go to bed until Captain Sandy was like, "You're going to the hospital."
John, I will say I have a dentist appointment at the end of this month.
Yep.
I called for the appointment 2 months ago. That was the first day they had in for me. So apparently there's a dentist shortage in America.
There's a everything shortage in America, man.
I would because it was a new dentist. I'm like, I figured it'd be like a month later, and no, it was a full 3 months.
Yep.
But yeah, I think so. He basically goes to like urgent care for it. But then
Yeah.
they get him an emergency dentist too. I don't. So it works out, I guess. I mean, he doesn't have to wait 3 months. Uh,
Well, this whole thing doesn't make this whole thing. I can't wrap my head around how he was in so much pain, and then obviously he was on some form of drugs or probably an antibacterial or antiviral or something. But then like 6 hours later, he's drinking through a straw at a bar. Like that's the like. Did he have the teeth removed, or did
yeah,
he? So he had two teeth removed, dude. You can't drink through a straw right after that. That's like 101, man. I've had my wisdom teeth out. We've all had our wisdom teeth out.
yes.
You can't drink through a straw. It's going to open up dry
You're
sockets, all these issues.
you're also not supposed to like drink alcohol because you're on like heavy painkillers.
Yeah.
And I think you're probably on like penicillin or something too. I my wife's a pharmacist. I'll ask her, but I'm pretty sure they tell you don't drink. Now I know they're in Europe and these guys live like rock stars, so
Yeah.
I think he'll be okay. But
If I had to guess, this wasn't the first time Kyle drank while on
all on drugs, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think the dude will be fine.
Not only like
Um,
so he comes back and is like immediately like brightens up the whole mood of the boat. And it's
yeah.
like in the best mood and it's like dancing hard that night and everything. I feel like most people, I know myself, when you get like wisdom teeth removed, your day is shot. You just lay on the couch the entire time or in bed.
Yep. So luckily Kyle's a vibe guy. He brought the vibe back. This is what we needed.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Z and Courtney pretty much picked up where they left off. Good friends, good vibes. But the problem is like I don't Courtney could be a leading lady, but I like Z's personality. I don't know if he's like the leading man of like for a boat. So
No.
little worried about the show going forward here.
I mean, also Courtney just kind of makes the most basic